And to unpack these developments, we are joined by Dr. Osama Raslan, a researcher in international relations, joining us from Cairo. Thank you for being here on Q News. Doctor, what would you say are the immediate implications of the HTS takeover of Damascus on Syria's political landscape?
Thank you for having me. There are many, of course. We're talking about ramifications and reverberations that are almost not, I would say, they are not confined to the Syrian territories. They go beyond, much beyond, not only to the region, but also to the whole world. What happened in Syria and what is still unfolding actually has unlimited ramifications, not only in Syria, as I said. For example, we have seen European countries putting asylum applications from Syrians on hold. They're putting in them on hold until further notice. This decision, of course, is taken by some European countries since last Monday, by the way. And of course, this follows the seizure of the Syrian capital, Damascus, by armed rebels. So after 13 years of civil war, with countless applications by Syrians who have already arrived in those European countries, that decision is taken. Here, we need to remember that according to the European Union, there are tens of thousands of open claims and asylum seeker applications under consideration in those European countries. So the decision affects the rapidly changing political situation in Syria and reveals the effects of having right-wing parties in power across Europe, because they all share that same political background of restricting or doubling down on immigration. In fact, Syria is still a conflict zone according to international law, and the Geneva Conventions provide explicitly for non-refoulement. And let me explain what's meant by this. Non-refoulement is an international law term that means the act of forcing a refugee or asylum seeker to return to a country or to a territory where he or she, of course, is likely to face persecution. Like you said in the very beginning, Syria is still a land of uncertainty, with still yet to come.
And do you think that these European countries which have decided to halt the claims of people who have been waiting for their asylum claims to be processed, do you think they might just say, okay, you can go home now, everything's fine?
Well, they can say so simply because, again, Syria under international law, or according to international law terms, is still a zone of conflict. So they cannot simply dismiss all those claims and applications as if everything is going or seeing the whole situation in Syria through rose-tainted glasses. This is that would be falling foul of realities and falling foul of their own legal obligations under international law.
Well, France has called for Israel to withdraw from the Golan Heights. Now, this is adding, of course, another layer of complexity to the situation. What does Israel's actions mean for the broader geopolitical dynamics in the region and, of course, especially in that part of Syria?
Well, that means more turmoil across the region. No, as usual, Israel has not spared a moment and has already proceeded with a military operation in the Syrian territory known as Al-Qneitra, which is a largely destroyed and abandoned capital of the Qneitra governorate in southwestern Syria. What is so special about this area is that it is situated in a high valley in the Golan Heights, at more than 1,000 meters above sea level. So the Israeli military action takes place for the very first time in this region or this territory since 1947. This, of course, violates the disengagement agreement between Israel and Syria. And by the way, let us not forget that the fact that Syria is still or should be treated as a sovereign country under international law. But as we speak, Israel is implementing a military operation to occupy Jabal al-Sheikh, which is also known as Mount Hermon, which is a mountain cluster across the border between Lebanon and Syria. Again, what is so special about this mountainous cluster is that it is 2,000 814 meters above sea level,
Okay.
which makes it the highest point in Syria and gives a strategic advantage to the elevating forces. I mean, the Israeli forces in this
Yeah.
case.
And I know that Netanyahu is talking about them staying throughout the winter. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, Dr. Raslan, but thank you very much for being there and talking us through the critical developments in Syria, not just for the people in Syria, but of course those Syrians who are living abroad as asylum seekers as well.